le choix du Yukon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the players, coaches, and umpires for today's game. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez accueillir les joueurs, entraîneurs et arbitres pour le match d'aujourd'hui. Representing the visiting team of Canada, the starters in their batting orders. Représentant l'équipe visiteur du Canada, les joueurs partant dans leur ordre de frappeur. Le numéro 20, number 20, the right fielder, le voltigeur de droite, Tyler Pauly. Le numéro 5, number 5, the shortstop, l'arrêt-goal, Samuel Bédard Desmarais. Le numéro 79, number 79, the catcher, le receveur, Taylor Shubada. Le numéro 24, number 24, the third baseman, le joueur de troisième but, Curtis Pikeway. Le numéro 25, number 25, the center fielder, le voltigeur de centre, Matt Pilon. Le numéro 77, number 77, the designated player, le joueur désigné, Marc-André Villeneuve. Le numéro 15, number 15, the first baseman, le joueur de premier but, François-Charles René. Le numéro 7, number 7, the left fielder, le voltigeur de gauche, Justin Boyer. Le numéro 30, number 30, the second baseman, le joueur de deuxième but, Tyson Zaire. Le numéro 8, number 8, the pitcher, le lanceur, Johnny Baker. And the substitutes for Team Canada, les joueurs substituts pour le Canada. Le numéro 10, number 10, Josh Elliott. Le numéro 16, number 16, Zach Mackay. Le numéro 12, number 12, Eric Healy. Le numéro 11, number 11, Nick Kenner. Le numéro 55, number 55, Matt Wardrop. Le numéro 72, number 72, Tyler Randerson. Le numéro 9, number 9, Justin Gainey. And the head coach, l'entraîneur-chef, Jim Jones, and the rest of the coaching staff. Representing the home team of Japan, the starters in their batting orders. Représentant l'équipe à domicile du Japon, les joueurs partant dans leur ordre de frappeur. Le numéro 6, number 6, the third baseman, le joueur de troisième but, Kune Hoyu. Le numéro 9, number 20, the shortstop, l'arrêt-court, Nagayama Kento. Le numéro 28, number 28, the first baseman, le joueur de premier but, Morita Hideo. Le numéro 5, number 5, the left fielder, le voltigeur de gauche, Kinjo Haruki. Le numéro 17, number 17, the pitcher, le lanceur, Okazaki Kento. Le numéro 7, number 7, the right fielder, le voltigeur de droite, Kajihara Kazuki. Le numéro 8, number 8, the designated player, le joueur désigné, Osaki Takanari. Le numéro 24, number 24, the second baseman, le joueur de deuxième but, Hino Sunhishi. Le numéro 14, number 14, the catcher, le receveur, Takushi Hideo. Le numéro 1, number 1, the center fielder, le voltigeur de centre, Omoto Shinpei. The substitutes for Japan, les substituts pour le Japon. Le numéro 19, number 19, Iwamatsu Fukon. Le numéro 16, number 16, Sakurada Yukiya. Le numéro 18, number 18, Hirayu Takenori. Le numéro 21, number 21, Yoshida Naochika. Le numéro 2, number 2, Yamasaki Jun. Le numéro 12, number 12, Yamamoto Akira. Le numéro 25, number 25, Osokawa Takuo. And the head coach, l'entraîneur-chef, Yamaguchi Yoshio. The umpires for today's game, les arbitres du match d'aujourd'hui, at home plate from Australia, l'arbitre au membre de l'Australie, Jason Carter. The first base umpire from Botswana, l'arbitre au premier but du Botswana, Abel Mataboge. The second base umpire from New Zealand, l'arbitre au deuxième but de la Nouvelle-Zélande, Gavin Shepherd. The third base umpire from the USA, l'arbitre au troisième but des États-Unis, Larry Tate. In honor of good sportsmanship, the players will now shake hands and exchange gifts. Dans l'honneur de l'esprit d'équipe, les joueurs se donneront main dans la main et échangeront les cadeaux.
Hello and welcome to the 2014 ISF Junior Men's World Softball Championships here at Pepsi Softball Center in Whitehorse, Yukon. For SportsCanada.tv, I'm your host, Adrian South. It's a bit of a wet one here as we gear up for Canada to take on Japan. Canada comes into this game with a record of 3-4. They split a pair of games yesterday, falling to Mexico, but they would come out on top 13-0 over Denmark yesterday. Now, Japan, they come into this with a record of 4-3. They lost 8-1 to Argentina yesterday. This will be a bit of this is a must-win game for Canada. They really need this one here, and I think it should be a really intense competition between these two teams. With their thoughts on the game and lineups, we will send things upstairs to Kyle and Lance.
The 2014 ISF Junior Men's World Championship is funded in part by Government of Yukon and Sports Canada. Le championnat du monde junior masculin 2014 de l'ISF est financé en partie par le gouvernement.
Well, thanks very much, Adrian. We're having some technical difficulties as we get ready to go here. It'll be Japan taking on Canada, and a bit of a slide with Japan. They came into day 6 of competition, a perfect 4-0, but they have promptly lost their last 3 ball games, so their record now 4-3, and they're definitely in a must-win situation if they want to advance to the medal round. As far as Canada goes, with 4 losses, going to be tough, but not impossible. It will be impossible if they lose today. That certainly will not bode well, and they will definitely be in the consolation round. So set the lineup first for Team Canada. Tyler Pauli will lead things off, followed by Samuel Bedard Desmarais. Taylor Shibata will be batting the 3 spot. Curtis Pikeway is the cleanup hitter. Matt Pilon batting 5th. Marc-Andre Villeneuve batting 6th. Francois Charles Rene will be batting 7th. Justin Boyer batting 8th. And Tyson Zaire, the number 9 hitter. As we get underway here, first pitch is in there for a called strike. It'll be the defense for Team Japan. Kinjo Haruki's in left field, Omato Shimpei in center, and Kajihara Kazuki is in right field. Uno Yoyu is the third baseman. Nagayama Kento at short. Hino Shinichi is the second baseman. Morita Hideo at first base. And Taguchi Hideo catching for the Japanese ace, Okazaki Kento. And not only does Kento pitch and log a lot of innings, he bats in the 4-hole. So a very impressive ball player as he misses there. Lance Wynn alongside Kyle Smith and Adrian South. Glad to have you with us here as we get set for, as our feature game is underway. A little bit of rain showers. Look like the sun will eventually come peeking out. And if you've been out here in Whitehorse and spent some time in this press box, that sun never comes peeking out. It comes blaring out. So we'll see if we can work through it, which I think we will. Good crowd on hand. Leadoff hitter Tyler Pauli. He's been doing a good job in that leadoff spot for Team Canada. That one is flared up in the center. Omato Shimpei under it, and he makes the grab for the out. So one down here for Team Canada. It'll be Samuel Bedard Desmarais stepping in now. So the pressure on just a wee tad for the red and white to come away with a win here. Pressure also on Japan as they're riding that 3-game slide. And they may slide right out of medal contention if they're not careful and can't come away with a win. Missing up to Desmarais. And that pitch fouled straight back. So a good cut from Desmarais as he looked to be all over that pitch from Kento. Kento nibbling on the outside corner, but doesn't get the call. So the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Just underway here. Feature game of the day. Canada, Japan. Argentina continue to roll on. They're a perfect 8-0 ground ball. That is gobbled up there by Shinuchi. And over to first for the second out. That'll bring up Taylor Shibata, batting in the 3 spot. So Canada's been kind of riding a bit of a roller coaster ride here this week. They've looked good at times, not so good at other times. And that pitch missing up. A good job by Shibata just to maybe square a bit, see if the corners are moving. And they were. Kento missing up again. Good eye from Shibata. That pitch is in there for a called strike to run the count now to 2-1. So Kento back in the count here with 2 away in the inning. That pitch doesn't find the mark. My partner Kyle Smith will join us momentarily. We're just working through some technical issues. And that pitch framed up there by Taguchi Hideo, but So a 2-out walk to Shibata, and that'll bring up Curtis Pikeaway. So could be a pinch runner coming in. But there isn't, just like some lineup clarifications. Demaray at first base. Pikeway pulls back the bunt attempt, and that pitch is a ball. So important for Canada to get off to a good start. Of course, this Japanese team, they play solid defense. And with Kento on the mound, they're tough to beat. That's a swing and a miss. And missing up. So Kento's struggling a wee bit here in the early going. Trying to find the mark on the rise ball. Team Canada has to be disciplined and let that ball go. And a swing and a miss. So Kento battles back to even the count at 2-2. And down looking to end the inning is Pikeaway. So Kento surrenders a walk, but that's all. No runs, no hits, and 1 runner left on. And through a half an inning, no score with Japan coming up.
Back in live here at the Pepsi Softball Center. Kyle Smith, Lance Wynn here with you along for the ride in Canada, Japan as we make our way towards the end of round robin play. For Team Japan, it'll be Une Yuyo who leads things off. Nagayami Kento bats in the 2-hole. Marita Hideo will bat third. Kinjo Haruki will bat fourth. 5-hitters Okazaki Kento as the pitcher today for Japan, back on the mound after a day of rest. Kajihara Kawazuki will bat 6. 7-hitters Osaka Takanari. Hinu Shunichi will be the 8-hitter. In the 9 spot, it's Taguchi Hideo who rounds out the order. Of course, Ometo Shimpei will not hit but do the pitching today for Japan. Defensively for Canada, it's Boyer, Pilon, and Paulai left to right across the outfield. Curtis Pikeway back to third today. Samuel Bedard Desmarais back in the lineup at short. Tyson Zaire plays at second. Francois Charles Rene moves over to first base tonight. Taylor Shibata back behind the plate tonight after a night of rest and DPing. Johnny Baker on the mound for Team Canada as that one gets lifted up and foul out of play. Lance Wynn and the umpires tonight for our game here. It's Jason Carter from the Australia. Abel Metaboje will be from Botswana over at first base. Second base is Gavin Shepard from New Zealand. Third base umpire Larry Tate from the US of A. And over on the 22nd clock, it's Daryl Helmer from Canada. So 2 quick strikes here to Une Yuyo, the leadoff man for Team Japan. And he'll lace that one down the line. Foul.
And Yoyu's played a solid third base and a heck of a job at the leadoff spot. He's tailed off just a bit after a very hot start. Last couple games hasn't been able to get on track, which has probably explained why Japan has struggled in the last 3 games.
Baker goes into the dirt for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Be interesting to see how this diamond takes that rain that we had, Lance, in between games. Maybe going to soften a little bit. Won't see as many high hoppers. And a roller through on the right side. So a single and then a misplay out and right by Tyler Paulai back in, but not in time. As up into second, Yoyu starts it off.
So defensively, it's got to get much cleaner for Canada. When you play teams of this caliber, they are going to take the extra base every opportunity they get. And that was a prime example right there. Now, with that little bit of rain, Kyle, you talk about the infield. That's certainly a bit softer and it'll keep the bounces down. But that outfield grass now is a wee bit slick. So the ball is going to scoot a bit when it hits it.
Well, it's going to scoot, and the other thing, it'll be wet when you're picking it up, so force the hand, try to get a good throw might be another challenge. Down on one knee on the bunt in time at first as Nagayami Kento works the bunt to perfection.
And the one thing that this Team Japan can do is they can really execute. They can all bunt. They can all hit. Now, not many have the power of Okazaki Kento. He's their big bopper in the cleanup spot. But they all handle the bat very well.
Nice pickup by Taylor Shibata behind the plate. Already getting loose is Matt Wardrop down in the right field side in the warm-up area. Just getting nicely started here in the first inning. Kyle Smith, Lance Wynn here with you. As that pitch misses for ball 2.
Well, you got Wardrop warning up there. Let's talk about a short leash, Kyle.
Well, I mean, Canada's got to stay in the win column here. Can't allow this game to get too far out. And a swing and a miss. The other thing, Marc-Andre Villeneuve is in the lineup as the DP. He was the pitcher of record last night for Canada in that 13-0 win. So you have the luxury of Andre Villeneuve. And a hot shot out on the 5.5 hole. And a run comes in to score quickly. So Japan jumps out in front 1-0 on a single, a sac bunt, and now another single. Costly error with Paulai misplaying it in right field.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Japan wouldn't have driven in that run anyway, but you change the complexion when you've got a runner on second as opposed to a runner on third.
Baker.
Canada has not done well in helping themselves out in the early going of ball games.
Kinjo Haruki, the man at the plate here for Canada. And he flares that one. Bedard Desmarais with it and on to first with a bit of a leaping throw. So 2 down in the inning now. Time called. So a defensive conference early for Canada.
Important here for Canada to get this third out.
Not only has Matt Wardrop gone to loosen up, but now Eric Healy going to get his throws in.
I've got 2 away in the inning, Kyle. I'm not sure about you.
2 down. Up and in on the pitcher Okazaki Kento. And called for a strike. Off and running. And he fouls that one off. Lots of fans fired up for this one here, Lance, as we just play in the bottom half of the first inning. Just the second game this week where Canada has been the visitor. Baker inside, throw down, Shibata, not in time. Stolen base for Hideo. Says something for Marita Hideo as Shibata, one of the strongest arms behind home plate.
Just don't think it was the best pitch for him to handle to try to gun a runner out.
Inside drop ball, lots to work with to throw it down. And a flare on the left side, fall in. Coming up to the cutoff man is Boyer. And another run comes in to score for Team Japan, jumping out to a quick 2-0 lead here as Okazaki Kento drives in a run on a single.
And he's been on fire. Like we said, he has been the main man in the batting order for Japan. And he's given them a very good start here as they push their second run across. Now, just a word to the wise, Justin Boyer there. I know the grass is a bit wet.
And a comebacker to the mound on a 1-3. End the inning. 2 runs come in. We'll get Lance's thought on that play and much, much more coming up in the top half of the second. Canada trails 2-0 on Sports Canada TV.
One error and 1 runner left on base. The score is now Japan 2, Canada 0. À la fin de la première manche, il y a eu 2 points sur 3 coups sûrs, une erreur et un coureur laissé sur les deux. Le pointage est maintenant Japon 2, Canada 0. Number 25, the center fielder.
Back with you here on Sports Canada TV. Kyle Smith, Lance Wynn, and the crowd was trying to work Canada into a bit of a frenzy as they'll have to respond after giving up 2 runs in the first.
Well, Kyle, I think that my thought was that Justin Boyer out in left field, that ball hit right at him on a big one hop. You have to come up throwing. That play's in front of you. You know it's going to land. Instead, he was kind of very casual about getting the ball into second base. Now, that's fine. You got it into stop the runner from going to second. But you got to try to cut down that run. You got to play with a wee little bit more desperation if you're Canada, because this is a must-win game for you if you want to even have a slimmest of slim hopes of making the medal round.
No, you're absolutely right, Lance. Canada got to get the dub here. And right on the plate for called strike. He came up on it, picked it up, and just came into short instead of throwing it to the plate to try and get the runner. Thought he might have a play with that, but goes to the shortstop instead, and the second run comes in for Team Japan and makes that a 3-2 count. Matt Pilon will lead it off here for Canada. Marc-Andre Villeneuve in the on-deck circle. And a slow roller. Shinichi. Not in time as Pilon legs that one out. Infield single for Matt Pilon.
And there's a case there, Kyle, when you talk about the infield being a little slower. So instead of taking 1 or 2 steps in to field that ball, Shinichi let that ball come to him. With that slight bobble on that last bad hop, that was just enough time to allow Pilon to beat it out.
So Marc-Andre Villeneuve, bunt, up, back, and caught by Hideo behind the plate.
So lack of execution there, Kyle.
Softball Australia leads over on Diamond 2 by a score of 3-2 in the 5th inning on the Czech Republic. So Aussies, Canada, Mexico, USA battling for the 3 and 4 spots, and called for a strike. No balls in 1 with the man at the plate, and Charles Rene had a big home run last night for Canada. He'll take for a ball. Japan started this tournament undefeated, all the way up to 4-0. Have since reeled off 3 defeats to make life a little interesting for themselves. This is game number 8 on the lineup this week. One more night of round robin play as Charles Rene punches that out on the left side. That's going to carry and caught for the second out of the inning.
Good touch by Charles Rene, but it looked like Kinjo Haruki had him shaded down the line, and he 4 or 5 steps to his right, and it was in his glove.
Kento with that offering. Opens up on the right side for strike one. Justin Boyer at the plate. Of course, Boyer playing out in left field here tonight. And a high cut, swing and a miss. 0-2. Things are going to warm up here in a minute, Lance. As that 8 o'clock sunshine comes out. Swing and a miss. Climb the ladder again does Kento. Down on strikes goes Boyer. And we'll head to the bottom half of the second inning. 2-0 in favor of Japan, with much more to come.
And that takes care of the third out. At the top of the second, we had no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. The score is still Japan 2, Canada 0. À la moitié de la deuxième manche, il n'y a eu aucun point sur un coup sûr, aucune erreur et un coureur laissé sur les deux. Le pointage est toujours Japon 2, Canada 0. Air North, Yukon's airline is the official airline of the 2014 Junior Men's World Softball Championship. If you find a better price, they will match it. It's a fair match guarantee. Visit flyairnorth.com to book all your travel. Air North, la voie aérienne du Yukon, la voie aérienne officielle du championnat du monde junior masculin 2014 de l'ISF. Si vous trouvez le meilleur prix, ils l'égaleront. C'est la garantie d'égalité de prix. Visitez flyairnorth.com pour réserver tous vos vols. Leading off for Japan in the second, le premier bâton de Japon dans la deuxième. Le numéro 8, number 8, the designated player, le joueur désigné, Osaki Takanari.
Back to work comes Johnny Baker here. Off speed. Nice mix of the speed there. Osaka Takanari at the plate. And lifted down the line. Foul. Japan right on top of Baker tonight. So maybe that's why we see a lot of movement down in the bullpen, getting loose, getting warm, and being ready. As we said, Canada comes in not affording another loss to the record, or that will definitely knock them down to the bottom side bracket, the consolation bracket. Trying to draw even and go to 500 along with Japan. Though we're still not sure if 4 wins is going to get you there. We'll have to see as USA falls to 3 losses, 5-3. Australia playing on the other diamond with 4 losses already. Same record as Canada, 3-4.
I believe Australia came in at 4-3. They were tied with yesterday with Mexico with 2 3-3 records. So with their win went to 4-3. They're looking to go to 5-3. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle.
Just bringing that up. And that one goes for a ball. 4-3, you were right. So United States at 5-3. Argentina the top of the heap at 8-0. 7-1 New Zealand. 5-3 United States. As that one goes a mile high. Further high than far away from the plate.
That was a major league pop-up there.
It's the third baseman, Pikeaway, who makes the play. Australia at 4-3, as we said. Japan at 4-3. Mexico at 4-4. Canada at 3-4, trying to get in on the action. A big one tomorrow night, more than likely will have so much impact on the round-robin standings in the 7:30 game, Australia versus U.S. That'll be here on Diamond 1. Topside misses for a ball.
And if Canada can somehow muster up enough to come away with a win here, they will meet Singapore tomorrow to wrap up their round robin schedule.
That one coming straight back down to our left. And the bleacher creatures below us. Hino Shinuchi at the plate for Japan. Trying to get this attack rolling again, 1-2. They started the week off with a bang in that 33-1 win over top of Singapore. Reeled off 3 more in a row and have since dropped 3. So on a bit of a schneid towards the end of the week, and a rise ball, swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Shinuchi. 2 down in the inning.
Important here for Canada to come away with a clean inning, not allow any runs, and get back up to the plate with a chance to cut into this lead.
Taguchi Hideo now comes to the plate, the catcher for Japan. Time called now. Pikeaway needed a moment. I don't know if Curtis wears contacts or just maybe a piece of dirt got in his eye. Says he's all right and ready to go. Baker sets. Called for a strike. Misses for a ball as Tyson Zaire maybe 2 steps in front of the line. Desmarais plays just as much behind the line at short. Called for a strike. 1-2. With Shibata working back behind the plate, a night off, probably feels as fresh as he did beginning of the tournament. And on to first, routine play for Samuel Bedard Desmarais. And with that, Lance, that'll wrap up the inning. Up and down they go. With that, we'll head down field level with Adrian South and their special guest of the hour. Adrian?
All right, thanks, guys. I'm joined by a very special guest, Kevin Quinn, president of Softball Canada. What are your thoughts on the tournament so far?
I think it's going along very well today. We've had great weather and good turnouts, good fans every evening here. The ballpark is full, so that's great.
And how did this World Championship come into existence here in the Yukon?
Well, Softball Canada, we put a bid forward to the ISF Congress, and we had a congregation here from Softball Yukon come with us to do that presentation, and we were awarded the tournament.
Excellent. And with that, I will send things back to Kyle and Lance in the broadcast booth.
Thanks a lot, Adrian, as we settle back in for the 3rd inning. Team Canada and Japan doing battle on Thursday night. Game 8 on the schedule, 9-game round robin. Trying to find your way into the A bracket, the championship bracket. Of course, Page playoff will kick in on Saturday. Tyson Zaire will lead things off here for Canada. And a bunt, pop up. Right to Kento coming in. 1 down in the inning.
Not a bad idea, just poor execution. Not sure. I guess I am with you, Kyle. Sounds like it. I wasn't sure.
You losing your marbles over there or what?
Well, what few I got left, yeah, they're just rattling around. I guess that's probably why I couldn't hear.
So Tyler Paulai will lead things off with one down. Back to the top of the order. And he sends that one up into the stands here off to our left. Sends some people scattering. So quick, no balls and 2 strikes count here. Paulai is the offense that gets this motor rolling. Seems as though as he goes, so Canada goes. Had a good game last night, back on track after a rough one the night previous. And he goes up to foul that one off. Paulai, the leading hitter for Team Canada, at a .522 average here this week, down from his .661 3 days ago.
And we've seen some good leadoff hitters in this tournament.
He's probably at the top of the heap for Team Canada and in this tournament as the count goes to 2-2.
There are a few of them. Of course, Vincent Harris with New Zealand, very strong in the leadoff spot.
And a roller. Paulai up the line. Easy play for Hideo. Goes unassisted, 2 down. Samuel Bedard Desmarais will come to the plate here after grounding out back in the first inning. He's had a rough go of things here the last few nights.
And Kyle, you've had a chance to do a majority of these Team Canada games. And what similarities do you see this time around that you've seen in previous games in this tournament?
Well, I mean, you're back to pretty much the starting lineup from opening night, except with Andre Villeneuve hitting. He wasn't available until kind of middle of the week. Johnny Baker had been in the lineup, hitting with Matt Wardrop on the mound. So a few tweaks here and there, but getting back to when they had success in this tournament and the lineup that brought them to the early 3-0 record.
Well, I think what I was alluding to was, have they been getting off to a quick start, or have they been slow starters, or have they been running themselves out of innings? Or
no, they're pretty good on the bases, not running themselves out, and they haven't been a consistent team to say starting quick or starting slow. One game they'll start quick, like last night they put on a couple runs in the first inning against New Zealand and Australia. Didn't really get much going early. So they've been hit and miss along the week. As you can see, you jump out to a 3-0 record, then reel off 4 losses in a row. Been a tough go for Canada basically after the USA game. After that little meltdown in the 7th, you turn around to win the game, but after that they've gone on the schneid as that one gets lifted up. Out to center. And the 3rd out of the inning. So up and down they go, 1 down, 1, 2, 3. We'll head to the bottom half of the 3rd on Sports Canada TV.
À la moitié de la 3e manche, il n'y a eu aucun point, aucun toucheur, aucune erreur et aucun coureur laissé sur les buts. Le pointage est toujours Japon 2, Canada 0. Please join us in thanking our community sponsors, Northwestern, Big Mac Toyota, North 60 Petro, Subway, Total Track Yukon, and the City of Whitehorse. Et vous joignez nous pour remercier le commanditaire communautaire. Northwestern, Big Mac Toyota, North 60 Petro, Subway, Total Track Yukon et la ville de Whitehorse. in the third for Japan. Le premier bâton pour le Japon dans la troisième. Le numéro 6, number 6, the third baseman, le joueur de troisième but, Mune Ryoyu.
Back here to the action in the bottom of the third inning. Being joined in the broadcast booth by special guest Mike Brancho, the manager of national teams and Canadian championships with Softball Canada. Mike, thanks for taking some time to join us here on the broadcast.
No problem, Kyle. Always a pleasure.
Mike getting in earlier this week, has to head on home as he gets ready for another function with Softball Canada. You're kind of here, there, everywhere, it seems, the last couple years.
Yeah, it's been an experience, that's for sure. I got to see a lot of the world and the country especially, and been spoiled, I guess you could say, in the softball expedition since the early 90s.
Now, you had a little bit of a change of roles taking on the national team portfolio, I guess, in the last little bit. So that brought some more travel for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, Harvey Stevenson was manager of national teams for many years with Softball Canada, did a great job, and he retired just before the start of 2012 season.
Bunt down in time as nice hands by Pikeaway.
So whenever Harvey left, we kind of did some reshuffling in the office, and with the experience I had, it seemed like a great fit for both Softball Canada and myself.
So time called now, as there's a little concern maybe with Johnny Baker, it seems, as the Team Canada athletic therapist will head to the mound. 4-2 Australia over on diamond number 2, as that one has a big effect on this game here and the records of both teams. But I guess, Mike, looking at your role sort of as a, not necessarily team leader, but looking after national team camps and the program itself, tell us a little bit about your responsibilities.
Yeah, mostly right now, Kyle, it's the men's program. Last year we kind of did a transition where I had both, but both the men and women. But unfortunately, it was crazy. It was I think whenever Harvey was doing it, we were on a 4-year cycle, and then Harvey left, and just in time, and we started the 2-year cycle, and it's basically it never ended. You had the World Juniors every 2 years now. It's like, well, we better be doing something for these guys because it's next year. So, and also managing 10 Canadian championships, it was kind of
a busy summer.
Oh, absolutely. So, but no, it was great. And we also Pan Am championships in the off year, but World Championships, heading to Argentina at the end of October with the senior men, and like you said, the camps, and then throw in our border battle slow pitch team. It's kind of crazy.
Looking forward, and I know, of course, everybody knows about the ISF senior men's next year. The senior women preparing, well, right now actually they're in BC playing in the Canadian Open after coming up from the General Tire tournament on the weekend where they picked up the silver. After that, they'll prepare to head to the Haarlem, Netherlands for the senior women's. Turn around real quick for you. You'll head to Argentina.
Yeah.
And then back getting ready for the Pan Ams next year, and of course the ISF senior men's and junior ladies. But looking especially because we're here at the junior men's, we'll kind of curtail it into senior men's. How the development program works from where they are now to that gap, because I guess when you look at this isn't a true definition of a junior men's tournament, right? This is more midget under 19 for us at home.
Correct.
The ISF just calls it junior.
Correct. I mean, it's the men's game compared to the women's game is quite different. You'll see a lot of the younger women make that step, but for the junior men here, it's just a gigantic step for a lot of them to step right into senior men's role. And I don't know if that's because of strength and development or what exactly it is, But I think they have to, after leaving here, I think they can join a couple of good junior teams and still, play at a competitive level. As you know, the the Canada Games are coming up in 17 for U21. So, there's still opportunities out there.
And a roller up the line. Yo-Yu retires Shibata across the diamond.
So, yeah, there's still a few years away, but we're hoping that, we can get some of these guys into our program and into camps and into, working with our strength and conditioning.
We're actually going to have a dead ball at the plate. So Shibata will get a second go-round as it, they say, goes off his foot coming out of the box. And there'll be a bit of an objection from the Japanese coach. I can't say that I saw it happen, but the way the ball rolled up the line was a pretty clean roll. But the third base umpire tonight, Larry Tate, says otherwise. Still has his arms up in the air explaining his situation. So Shibata coming back to the plate. Big situation. And how does it change things? I mean, it opens the door now in junior where you can take some younger guys to a junior men's and turn it around 2 years later and have them come back with the experience. Prime example, Taylor Shibata.
Yep.
I know there's a lot more financial considerations, but how does that kind of affect your pool development players for the junior team?
It's tough because you're right. Like in 2 years' time, we're probably going to have a complete overhaul of this team. And how do you financially do that whenever you got to fund 3 other national teams going, pretty full strong for the 2-year cycle? So, you like to see these guys like Shibata come back and we have one kid definitely coming back in 2 years. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough, but you get what you get, and you try and put together, like Argentina had the fortune of traveling the last couple of years and playing together as a team, and one softball center in Piranha is huge for these kids. And they're doing quite well, obviously, with their undefeated record here. And so it's, but they're not putting any money into their women's program in Argentina. It's all the men's program. So
you got to find that balancing point as a national body.
Yep, for sure. And, we're always willing to listen. We talked about it this week while I've been here, what we can do to make our boys more competitive. We're competitive as it is, but what can we do, with our resources that we currently have, and where do we have to put some more resources into? Is it development? Is it to, strength and conditioning? Is it to, working with pitchers, working with catchers? What is it? Like we identified a few years ago with Doug Chase being our first base coach and one of our assistant coaches and the former National League or national team catcher. He came out and he worked great with Shibata, and so I mean, it's just identifying what we can do and when we can do it and how we can do it and get the resources to do it. Like we had all 40 men at our senior camp in June, which was a huge step. We've never done that before. But
never had a selection camp process.
Exactly.
So I guess you touched on that, and we'll get into that here in a minute as Kento swing and a miss on strikes. Down goes Pikeaway. But what's the next step for the senior team now? You have that camp in June. You break camp, getting ready for September. When can we kind of expect the announcement for that team coming that's going to head down to Argentina?
Yeah, our coaching staff and myself will be at the ISC Worlds in Kitchener, just kind of watching some of our guys, and again at the Canadian Championships in PEI towards the end of August. So shortly after that, and it's also a big commitment for these guys.
Huge commitment.
That they've played all summer on their club teams. Then they got to go to Argentina for almost 2 weeks. And then turn around, and we're asking some of these guys for almost a complete month in July next year.
I mean, that's really what it is, right? I mean, it's a full month commitment next year for the Pan Ams and for the ISF seniors.
Yeah, for sure. The nice thing is it's in our home soil, so in between somebody might be able to sneak home for a couple days, and also the roster changes from 17 to 15 for the Pan Ams. You know, so I mean, there's going to be a couple guys that can't do everything, just because of numbers. You know, let alone work schedules and stuff. So.
Down on strikes goes Pilon as we carry on our conversation with Mike Brancho, the manager of national teams and Canadian championships, as we'll head to the bottom half of the fourth. Canada trails by a score of 2-0. So you got to cut that down. So you go from a roster of 17 to a roster of 15, based off of basically the week that you have at the ISF tournament.
Yeah, that, and also, you know, with that 15-man roster with the Pan Ams, you need somebody that can carry some innings and do something else. You know, like you can't have three guys that just pitch.
You almost need a guy like Johnny Baker, who's multi-talented, a utility guy, but can spell you innings and give you quality innings. I mean, that's the other thing, right? They have to be quality innings of work.
Like two classic examples that come to mind is Andy Skelton and Jason Hill. Both those guys gave us quality in Columbia in our gold medal 2012 year, and you need that. You need the ability to be able to, you know, Andy Hill could hit 3, 4, 5 for us, and Hilly was the MVP at the Canadians last year.
Yep.
So, you know, you just need those type of players whenever you have a shortened bench, but you also need the guys like Sean Cleary's and Sean Wittens that will go out there and give you the, you know, the extra.
You need the horse. You need the horse in the stable.
The Paul Courts and, you know, these guys that have been around for a while. That's what they do, and that's their specialty.
So as we move back into the bottom half of the fourth, 2-0, and that's another hard hit ball by Haruki as he moves into first base with the leadoff single. Moving forward after here, you know, you assess where you are. Canada starts out 3-0. They've lost 4 in a row now, trying to battle and stay alive for the ability for the championship round. But what happens after this tournament breaks off on the logistics side? You know, is there a debrief? Or does everybody kind of go their separate way for a bit, and then do you meet?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we're going to talk to the coaching staff and try and, you know, figure some things out, what we can take positive.
And that is a no-doubter. You can say bye-bye baseball. A 2-run shot by Okazaki Kento. A 2-for-2 night. Drive in 2 more, make it 4-0 Canada, or 4-0 Japan.
Yeah, so just, you know, you take your coaching staff and they sit down with each of the guys. Hopefully here, they can't do it here because of timelines. Then they'll get on the phone with them over the course and just get the feedback. What worked, what didn't, you know, what can we do better? What can Softball Canada do better? What can the coaches do better to you know, get the best out of these athletes?
Is there, I know this is Jim Jones's first cycle through, not as a coach, but as the head coach. Is there the agreement made that, you know, it's a period of time? Does he have the next cycle? Is it a year-by-year scenario? How's Softball Canada working that with their guys?
Yeah, we with both with Coach Don Bates and Coach Jim Jones, it's basically by the cycle. So they get the 2-year. Like Jim knew last year, he was assigned as head coach, so he gets the 2-year cycle. We assess after every World Championships where we're at, where we want to be. You know, so it's one of those things. Like, you know, we have so many great softball people in Canada. You know, with ties to great programs. Like I said before, Doug Chase, former national team player, it's his second cycle. George Ryder, second cycle. Fred Redhead, first time with us. We just hired him, you know, last year.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, these guys are positive. Same with the senior men's side. Again, a lot of good minds in the softball in Canada. Lots of quality people, as evident by, you know, a lot of the club teams in the ISCs with their leadership. So, yeah.
How does the 2-year cycle change how you approach things? As we rewatched the monster shot by Okazaki Kento, and he kind of pimps the home run a little bit, but when you hit it that hard, I guess gives you a little bit of right. But as a national body, is it going to be hard to maintain these 2-year cycle systems where we have a world championships? I mean, you're sending 2 national teams to 2 worlds every year. Is that hard, and do you see that sustaining down the road?
Well, I think with the commitment from Sport Canada, they've been great supporters of this. Unfortunately, whenever we were, not part of the Olympics anymore, I think the ISF recognized what we had to do as a whole across the world as an organization, and going to the 2-year cycle was what was recommended and backed up by a lot of countries. And you'll see, with Canada hosting a lot and with USA hosting a lot, it makes it easier for a lot of these teams to get to the World Championships every
I mean,
2
you
years.
talk about Canada and US hosting. This tournament in 2 years goes to Michigan, and then you look at the senior side alone. Senior men's goes Saskatoon next year. We come back here in 17, and then it's open after that. You look at the senior women worlds will be in Vancouver, and that will be in 16.
Yeah.
Junior women's was just in Brampton.
Yep.
So there is a lot of
to the U.S.
going to the U.S. Oh yeah, next year in
Oklahoma. Yeah.
So there's lots of local things.
Yeah.
So it makes, like you said, it makes it central. I did see that bid processes are open. So why don't you tell the viewers back home, if somebody sitting at home, part of a softball organization, wants to host an ISF, how do they go about that?
Well, they would contact Softball Canada. Obviously, they have to have the backing of the home body.
Yep.
We do get some calls, and we do get some applications in, and we do discuss it at length with the host. And obviously, the people here in Whitehorse, they've been doing it several years. They know the commitment. They know what it takes. We make sure the fit's there and everything is right. Because you don't want to host an event of this magnitude and not really be prepared of it. So, the fit has to be there. The facilities, obviously, the airports, you name it, it all has to be there. But I do think that experience in hosting, whether it's, a national Canadian championship or something, will play a huge factor in wanting to do this.
Swing and a miss, and runs it to 3-2. Is Canada trying to work out here? Now on is Ty Randerson. Kazuhira Kawazuki at the plate. He grounded out back in the first inning, being joined by Mike Branchot, the manager of national teams and Canadian championships with Softball Canada. And a hard hit ball right out into left center. That one going to roll to the wall, giving chase is Pilon. The wheel around. Here comes Kazuki. He's in to score. And Osaka Takanari, he finds his way to the bases and the RBI double. So Japan has brought their hitting bats to the park tonight, and they are right on top of the Canadian pitching. And as we see, we'll have a pinch runner for Osaka Takanari. That'll be number 1, Amoto Shimpei, the old DP flex switch. So drop down to 9 temporarily. We'll let you get out on this and go enjoy the rest of this ball game, Mike. But what's up next for you here moving forward? Where are you off to? I know you got a busy summer ahead.
Yeah, fly home tomorrow, back to Ottawa, in the office Monday, Tuesday next week, just getting final preparations done for the border battle next Wednesday to Saturday in Kitchener, Ontario. And then start with the Canadian Championship cycle with a trip back out west here to BC for a few days for the U14 Jamboree, the Saskatoon for 3 days for the U18 women, and then back to Fort McMurray for slow pitch and Canadian Championships, home for a few days, and then Brampton and Montreal. So
and then out east for senior men's at the end of the month.
Yes. Yeah.
So a busy time for Mike. So we do appreciate your time, Mike. We wish you the best. Safe travels. We'll see you around the ball yard, and thanks for this.
Thank you, Kyle.
Mike Branchot, the manager of national teams and Canadian Championship with Softball Canada, gracious to spend an inning and a bit with us here in the broadcast booth. And the bunt attempt down and played by Pikeway up on to first for the first out of the inning. So on the bunt, Takanari over into third as Taguchi Hideo now will move to the plate. Hideo, the catcher for Japan, he'll take for ball one. Canada falling down 5-0 here in the fourth inning on the strength of the monstrous Okazaki Kento home run. Looks as though Australia has held on to defeat the Czech Republic over on diamond number 2. And back to the mound. 1-3. Nice play by Randerson as he fields the position well. So Une Yoyu will come to the plate. Single scored and a ground out on his card for Team Japan. Randerson now sets and fouls that off. So Canada, as you look ahead to the top half of the fifth inning, 6, 7, 8 hitters, Villeneuve, Charles Rene, and Boyer will have to start to make some hay for Canada, trying to avoid that fifth loss here in Whitehorse, as that one gets fouled off. And that one fouls off. Randerson. And again, that one gets a charge into it. Dead away center to the wall, makes the grab. Does Matt Pilon uses all 245 feet in the ballpark to track that one down and wraps it up for the inning. So Yoyu, a deep fly, but no damage done. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. So we'll send it down to Adrian South, who's field level with another special guest here on Thursday night. Adrian?
All right, thanks, guys. I am joined by Debbie Pikeaway. Her son Curtis plays for Team Canada. What are your thoughts on the game and the tournament so far?
Well, so far it's been very, very exciting, and a game's never over till it's over, and I'm proud of all of them.
Now, what's it mean for you to see him play here in a Canada jersey?
It is just, it's so special, and it makes you so proud. I mean, they've worked really hard all this time to play ball, and to make it to this level is just so special.
And one of the 4 Saskatoon boys playing on the team, what's it like for him to play with his teammates here?
Oh, it's awesome. They get along so well, and they're all such great boys. Awesome young men.
All right, well, thank you very much. That is Debbie Pikeaway, mother of Curtis from Team Canada. I will send things back to Kyle and Lance in the broadcast booth.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian, as we move into the bottom half of the fifth. Canada down 5-0. Got to make some noise here this inning to extend some momentum to their side, as it's all riding with Japan as Kento misses top side for a ball. And that one lifted foul out of play as our director, Kat Britton, trying to get a hold of Jillian working the home plate cam. Maybe falling asleep at the wheel over there, Jill, or having a bit of a nap. One count. That one goes up into the air. Oncoming on the long run is Kazuki as Marc-Andre Villeneuve flies out. One down in the inning. Want to thank Mike Branchot for visiting here in the broadcast booth here tonight to share information on the national team program and what's all going on with Softball Canada. Right back up the middle, up in the air, knocked down on the infield. And column safe as Francois Charles Rene. Single.
Now batting for Canada. May now ball down for Canada. With the yellow set, number 7, the left fielder, the left to the goal, Justin Boyer.
So Justin Boyer now comes to the plate. Struck out back in the second. Swing! Got a piece of it. Good squeeze on by Hideo behind the plate. And that one lifted on the left side.
Please bring the balls back in the box behind home plate at field number 1.
Hey, there's Jillian. She woke up. Good job, Jill. Glad to have you back with us, bringing that home plate camera to those of you watching back home. Swing and a miss. And down on strikes goes Boyer. Climbing that ladder again was Kento.
Now batting for Canada. May now ball down for Canada. The middle count, number 30, the second baseman is running.
5 strikeouts on the night for Okazaki Kento. And now Tyson Zare will come to the plate. Called for strike 1. And that one to the backstop. Skips away up to first and into second goes Charles Rene. 0-1 count. Zare played the hero in the Team USA game. He'd love to start the attack tonight for Canada. Runner in second. Bunt again. And caught by the third baseman, Une Yoyu. And that will end the inning. Strand the runner at second. Come back with the bottom half of the inning on Sports Canada TV.
Le pointage est toujours Japon 5, Canada 0. Leading off for Japan. Maintenant battant pour le Japon. Le numéro 20, number 20, the shortstop, le retour, Nagayama Kento.
Kyle Smith back here on Sports Canada TV as apparently my broadcast partner bailed out. So we'll ride this one into the sunset here in Whitehorse. And if you've been with us all week, there is no sunset. The sun just hangs with you all night long. Nice pickup by Taylor Shibata. We're actually going to get some sun here in a little bit as these thick clouds start to roll away. And that one will miss. Ball 4. The umpire takes his mask off and says, you can have first base. So free pass to Kento. And now Merida Hideo will come to the plate. Earlier this week, he dropped down and do 3 push-ups prior to coming to the plate. There's a bunt. It's down. Randerson in time at first to second. Got him! A double play. 1, 3, 6. Call it 2. Got caught sleeping Kento as he rounded around into second. Got too far off the bag and got tagged down. That pitch misses up and out. Rise ball to the outside, ball 2. So maybe a little momentum swing for Team Canada. Japan yesterday ran themselves out of an inning against Argentina. And that careless mistake maybe going to cost them here. Kinjo Haruki, the man at the plate here for Japan. As you look at Ty Randerson. Right on the plate for strike 2. 2-2 the count. Foul ball just rolled behind the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Randerson trying to push Canada to the 6th. Swung on. That one is another big one. See ya. A solo shot for Kenjo Haruki. Makes this a 6-0 ball game. George Ryder checks on Matt Wardrop to see if he's ready to go. So the boys up there trying to pump Ty Randerson up to keep him focused after giving up that home run. Back to work he comes. And that one into the dirt. A little shaking on that one. Play here in the 5th. Canada have to get out of the inning without giving up a run, or it'll be an early night for us here at the ballpark. The motion has started on Twitter that they'd like to see Joe Todd get a Twitter account. That one gets fouled off. Two balls and a strike. And that pitch misses to the outside for ball 3. 3-1. And that one fouled off. Count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down. Okazaki Kento had that monstrous home run back in the 4th. And another hefty cut by the big man at the plate, trying to knock that one again. He was hitting .500 coming into tonight. He's 2 for 2, so that average will head north. Fouls it off straight back, so they are right on Tyra Anderson. Not missing by much here is Okazaki Kento. Three and two. Back to the mound, knocked down by Randerson. And on to first, 1-3. And the inning will head to the sixth. 6-0 for Japan.
For your safety, please be aware that during the course of play, softballs can and will be thrown and hit into the stands. Do not throw the ball back onto the field of play. Return them in the box behind home plate. Leading off for Canada, le premier batteur de Canada, le numéro 20, number 20, the right fielder, le petit joueur de droite, Tyler Pauly.
Back here in Whitehorse as the sun tries to shed a little light on us here on diamond number 1. On the edge for strike 1. Top of the shop and Tyler Pauly to lead things off here for Canada. And that one fouled off. No balls, 2 strikes.
Please return the ball back in the box behind home plate.
Oh-2. Pauly at the plate, 0 for 2. And little flick of the wrist. Perfectly played, though, is Shimpe for out number 1. Samuel Bedard Desmarais now will come to the plate, 0 for 2. Trying to break out here. Kento on the corner for strike. Top side for a strike called by Jason Carter from Australia. One pitch. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Bedard Desmarais chasing. 2 down in the inning. Taylor Shibata will come to the plate for Canada. Trying to extend this inning, try to jumpstart the offense for Canada. Up and out for a ball. Taylor had a walk in the first inning, struck out back in the 4th. 0 for 2. And that one misses for ball 2. Two hits to this point for Team Canada as Okazaki Kento continues his dominant pitching performance. And that one Played on by Kento. In time at first. What a play by Nagayami Kento going up the middle, ranging to his left to get Shibata at first. 3 up and down for Canada. We'll head to the break. We'll come back with the bottom half of the 6th. Canada trails 6-0.
Le pointage est toujours Japon 6, Canada 0. This event would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors, including our premier sponsor, Pepsi. Pepsi, the Yukon's choice. The 2014 ISF Junior Men's World Championship is funded in part by Government of Yukon and Sports Canada. Le championnat du monde junior masculin 2014 de la ISF est financé en partie par le gouvernement du Yukon et Sport Canada. For Japan in the 6th. Le premier pour le Japon, le numéro 7, number 7, the right fielder, le voltigeur de droite, Kachihara Kazuki.
Back to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Ty Randerson comes out for his 3rd inning of work. Kajihira Kawazuki at the plate. And he'll send that one skyward. If it goes, it's over. And say, bye-bye baseball. A solo shot makes it 7-0. And that will end this one by the run rule. 7-0 final. So for Canada, they will fall to 3-5 on the tournament, and that will all but secure their berth into the consolation round. Unfortunate for the host team, not able to get one here after a quick start. Jumped out to a 3-0 record. Now dropped 5 in a row. Have to somehow get back on track, find that winning formula. So they'll have tonight to think about it. Maybe tomorrow night is the opportunity to play Singapore, as we'll round out round robin competition. Canada plays tomorrow at 5 p.m. local for those of you that want to join in on that one. But we hope you'll see you earlier in the day, as we'll be on the air at 1:30 local. 1:30, 5, and 7:30 tomorrow. 7:30 o'clock. That's a good one. That will be here, and that will feature Australia taking on Team USA tomorrow night, which could have a major impact on the standings, on pool play, and on the top side of the bracket, the page playoff format. The top 4 as Team USA trying to hang tight, can't afford that 5th loss tomorrow. Australia can't afford a loss. A big one tomorrow night here as we await our post-game interview. We can update you on the standings as Argentina has run the table thus far. They stand at a perfect 8-0. New Zealand at 7-1. The U.S. will roll their record to 5-3. Australia with the win improves to 5-3. Excuse me. Yes, United States at 5-3. Australia now moves to 5-3. Japan moves to 5-3. Mexico falls to 4-5. No, Mexico came up with the win. They go to 4-4. Canada falls to 3-5. Czech Republic to 2-6. Denmark to 1-7. Singapore at 0-8. So you look at that middle of the pack. The top two teams, New Zealand and Argentina, all but have secured their, well, not all but, they have secured the 1-2 page playoff game on Saturday night. U.S. at 5-3, Australia at 5-3, and Japan at 5-3. Tomorrow's schedule, it looks as such. Japan will play the Czech Republic, so if everything goes according to Hoyle, you could put Japan to 6-3. The U.S. and Australia game is monumental because the winner of that would catapult into the top 4. So boy, oh boy, what a night it'll be tomorrow here on Canada Sport Canada TV. And right now we'll send it down field side with Adrian South. Adrian?
All right, thanks, guys. I'm joined by head coach Jim Jones from Team Canada. What are your thoughts on the game?
Extremely disappointed. We prepared really well for it, but I said, you know what, I give credit to Japan. I said they hit the ball, and the difference, they have a pitcher that throws probably in that close to 80 mile an hour, and we're at probably 73, and that's a huge difference between what you have and what you get. So good for them. They have a good team.
What do you take away from this and talk about and work on for the next game?
We just have to be better. Our pitchers have to be better, our fielding has to be better, and our hitting has to be better. Early on in the tournament, our hitting was fantastic, and we were hitting good, but then again, we weren't hitting against the best pitchers in this tournament at that time either. And there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are extremely good, and are throwing in that 80 mile an hour range, and it's tough to build anything back-to-back on them. So it is what it is. It's disappointing, but we'll come back tomorrow and play our game and then try to finish as high as we can. So.
All right, well, thanks very much, Coach. I will send things back to Kyle and Lance in the broadcast booth.
Thanks a lot, Adrian. Very gracious Jim Jones with his time. I know not what he'd like to be doing right now, but we appreciate his time as we get ready to close up shop for day number 7 here in Whitehorse from a broadcast partner who has bailed out on us tonight, Lance Wynn. But it's just payback after what I did to him earlier today. So I appreciate it. I understand. He's getting ready for the post-game show. For Jim Flanagan, Joe Todd, for all of us here on Diamond Number 1, Troy Brown, Adam Donnelly, Jillian Landrigan, Randy Strickland, Jazz here, and, of course, my producer, Kat Britton. Adrian South down field level. I'm Kyle Smith. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon from Whitehorse, Yukon.